Ramakrishna Mission Janani Sharadam Devi Ramakrishna Jagadgurum Padabhadme Tayosritva Pranamami Guru Namasri Nadirajani Vivekananda Suri Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swami Amaranandaji. Most Revered Maharaj and the assembled devotees, Maharaj, Srimad Swami Amaranandaji Maharaj is the monk in charge, or the minister in charge of our center in Switzerland, Geneva. Maharaj is in Europe for more than 4 decades, and I had the blessed fortune to visit his center, where he saw how it's not a large community, but it's a small community. He has been doing wonderful work. He's a very senior monk of our order and known for his scholarship as well as sterling monastic virtues. We are really blessed that Maharaj has kindly consented to be with us and also to address the devotees. He will speak on the topic Sri Ramakrishna, the Avatara Varishtha, topic which is so important and so dear to all of us. So we really look forward to Reverend Maharaj's discourse. Pranam Maharaj.
Om Sthapakaya Dharmasya Sarvadharmasvarupini Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Namaha. You know, this is your composition of Swami Vivekananda. Now, the question is Avatara Varishtha. First of all, Avatara itself is a conception about which there is tremendous doubt. That God comes down with a physical body, appears as man, and is called Avatara. There is doubt about it. You know, if you go to Christology, for example, you will find for several centuries there are debates whether Christ was a God, or he was a man, or he was a mixture of these two things. And so this is normal because a child appears as issuing from the womb of a mother, and that child is being called the child of God in the most physical sense. So there is tremendous doubt about it. And then the other question, of course, comes Varishtha. That means a comparison is being made among the avatars. You know, if you go to the life of Prophet Muhammad, for example, he's been asked by the Jewish community that you say that you are the messenger of God, but we do not find any particular about you. You look like an ordinary human being. So what is the proof that you are the messenger? Muhammad replied that even if I show you, you will not believe. But then he understood that there is a doubt about it. So after a few days, he declared that he had gone with a horse with wings to a place which Muslims say is Jerusalem. And from there, he rose to the heavens. On the way, he met Moses, who asked him, "Where are you going?" He said that I am going to heaven to meet God. He said, "When you come back, you drop in here to report to me." So he came back and reported that God had asked him to pray 50 times a day. This he must have in the community. Moses says it is too much. It is too much. You go back again. So he went back. So again was coming down. How many times? He said he reduced to 10 times. He said 10 times is also too much. 10 times praying. So then he went again, and this time he reported that God has reduced it to 5 times. So Moses said 5 times is okay. And then God also showed him how to do the prayer, all the postures, etc. So these things he narrated to the Jewish community that these are happening. This is the proof. So how many believed, I do not know, but he had to do all these things. That is always a question of doubt, etc. Now, we shall come to the question then, a question of Varishtha later on, because a comparison is being made. Many people think that it is just an eulogy. Say, for example, in India, we write a letter, Shvatakoti Pranama Purashara. That means after making prostration a milliard of times. We do not mean this. And the person who receives the letter does not believe this. It's a way of. So he is talking about his guru. So he is talking in hyperbolic language. So normally many people think it like that. But if you go through the speeches and writings of Swami Amaranandaji, his conversations, you'll find that he means it. And he gives also several reasons for it, why he is saying this. Avatara Varishtha. Another, on another occasion, Sarachandra Chakravarti, the disciple of Swami Vivekananda, put to him this question: do you think that Sri Ramakrishna is an Avatara? Swamiji said that, what do you mean by Avatara? He said, okay, these people like Ramachandra, Sri Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, Gauranga, etc. These are avatars. Swamiji replied that I know that Sri Ramakrishna is greater than all these persons we have just talked about. But he does not elaborate why he is saying so. This was his reply. So now, going to the Bhagavata Purana. Bhagavata Purana talks about manifestations of Purusha. Manifestations of the supreme power, rather. Supreme power as Purusha. Purusha with 16 kolas. Kolas means parts. This is an idea from Sankhya cosmology, but in a different way. These kolas are 11 Indriyas including the mind, plus 5 gross elements. So Purusha plus this is the first manifestation of the supreme power. The second manifestation is, Bhagavata says, is as antaryami of both animate and inanimate objects. You may wonder how inanimate objects may have an indwelling spirit. But you see, from the vision of ordinary science, it is anomaly. But if you consider the yogic experience of what is called Archavatara. Archavatara means Archa means something you worship is called Archa. Now if you worship it very deeply, sincerely, there is an animation in the Archa. The idol or icon begins to behave like a human being. That is called Archavatara. It is Ramanuja said this. In the life of Sri Ramakrishna, Sarada Devi, and some of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, you find it amply illustrated. Sri Ramakrishna used to talk with the image, say, Sarada Devi bought once a Balagopala Murti. One day the Balagopala crawled to her, saying that you have brought me here, but you do not give me anything. You do not give me any food. Don't I feel hungry? I say. Sarada said, okay, you will get food every day. Since then, we had to offer something to this Balagopala. That means that this is Archavatara. So, since Archavatara is possible, that means there is a link between animate and inanimate. Because inanimate is behaving like an animate object. So, you see, so Antaryami of Charachara. And the third manifestation, the Bhagavata Purana says, is the fact that God lives in the hearts of all living beings. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Riddeshe Arjuna Tishtati, Gita says. But all these three manifestations are subtle. They are not gross. So with the gross, your body, God comes down as Avatara. That is what the Bhagavata says. Now, of course, finally, believing whether a person is an Avatara or not, it depends upon, it is a subjective affair. All people who have seen Sri Ramakrishna did not consider him as an avatar. So also in the case of Gauranga, or Jesus, or Buddha. Buddha, of course, is not to claim that he was an avatar. It is the Hindus who have made him an avatar. Now, so this is the conception addressed in the scriptures. So now the question is that why is Swami Amaranandaji is calling him Avatara Varishtha? Because once a devotee put this question to me, did Swamiji have a measuring rod with which he compared the avatars? How could he say so? If you go to the speeches and writings, yes, he's giving reasons why he is calling. First, he says that other avatars, their messages are monotonous. It is the same line. Whether you take Jesus or Buddha or Gauranga, you see, not that their messages are similar, but the messages of one avatar, there is monotony. Whereas Sri Ramakrishna, according to Swamiji, is Bhavasaga, ocean of spiritual moods. He himself is demonstrating different moods and is guiding different disciples in different directions, totally different directions. So the question of monotony is not there. Coming to Sri Krishna, if you take the Bhagavad Gita as the utterance principally of Sri Krishna, then you find, of course, certain harmony among the different paths prevalent in those days in India. That is there. But Sri Ramakrishna's harmony is not only with the faiths in India. Himself trekked into Sufism and into Christianity. Without being a Christian, without being baptized, he experimented with Christ. You know that. First of all, he was looking at the Madonna. Then Jesus himself manifested from the Madonna and embraced him. Then he came back to the temple garden. For 3 days, he meditated on Christ. At the end of the 3 days, Jesus with his apostles appeared. It was a very vivid experience. So much so that he himself said that he had seen Jesus with a little, he said, nose a little flat. And not only that, he said that I have seen Sharat and Shashi in the circle of Jesus. That means would be Ramakrishna and Sharat. He saw them in the circle of Jesus. So it was such a vivid experience. So, you see, So all these things is enriched his vision, so that finally he would say, Yato Bhat Tato Bhat. As many religious doctrines, so many paths to the truth, to God. So this kind of harmony and so you don't find anywhere. For example, Buddha was asked that Nirganthanaka Buddha is there, that is Mahavir, and he is preaching. So, are these preachings correct? Buddha replied that is not Buddha talking about the ways and paths I am mentioning, then is correct. That is, otherwise is not correct. So, see, this is that all paths are ways, this vision is lacking. Anyhow, so this is one thing. Another thing is that in Ramakrishna, you find not only this thing, another thing is that he is talking about, say, this women, the question of women. Women in other avatars, women have not been elevated to this status, you see, to which Sarvadini was elevated. All the things, spiritual things, treasure which Ramakrishna possessed, he freely gave it to Sarvadini and was training her for years. You see, this is another thing. It's a tremendous thing. And not only that, apart from Sarada Devi, there are few other ladies who were close disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. You don't find such a thing other places. Then there is another question that Sri Ramakrishna, though he is called at the forefront of sannyasis, but he was an Utyashrami. He was not following all the practices of sannyasa. He did not belong to any ashram, not into sannyasa ashrama. So he was Atyashrami. Whereas Jesus, Buddha, etc., Gauranga, they are all sannyasis. And being Atyashrami, he could guide, for example, Sarada Devi, even in mundane matters, how to behave with people, how to prepare this beauty names, how to prepare, you see. All these things, you see, he used to teach Sarvadi. And in future, you see, she used to be warned in regard of monetary matters by Sri Ramakrishna. Look here, you see, he peeped through the railway window. Take care of your Ishtakavacha. Or another occasion, she said, my mother by mistake sent a 1,000 rupee note to Radhu. So Ramakrishna appeared, so you have given really this 1,000 rupees to Radhu. Mother did it by mistake. It was in the box, so it went in the box. So all these things, you see, he used to. So that is the peculiarity of Sri Ramakrishna, that in everything he was alert. In every matter he was alert. Now, that is why, you see, Swamiji used to call him Avatara Varishtha. Avatara Varishtha, of course, if you take the question of harmony, Sri Krishna comes close to Ramakrishna. If you take the question of Sahaja Samadhi, then Gauranga comes close to Ramakrishna. But they come close only in one aspect. Given Sri Krishna, the difficulty is that apart from the fact that we are certain that Sri Krishna was a historic person, we do not know anything about his life. Everything is mythology. Whatever you are talking about Krishna is mythology. Listen, the only thing we are certain about Krishna, because the Upanishad mentions him, his mother and his guru, and a few of his guru's teachings. That's why we know that he was a really historic person. It was not just made up somewhere. But his life is totally drowned in mythology. So, you cannot imagine that all these things happen. That, I say, on the finger, he raised the mountain, etc., etc. This is too much of mythology. The whole life, you do not know practically anything about Krishna. So that is a great difficulty about Krishna. Apart from message of Jesus, for example, which are there in the Old New Testament, there are other messages which were censored. That's why even these days you find the hidden gospels. Hidden gospels. Yes, so that is evident that there are many gospels, and some of them were censored, not brought to light. So we do not know exactly the totality of message of Jesus Christ. But in Sri Ramakrishna, everything is there. At least the last few years of his life is they are highly documented. That is another thing. Highly documented. His disciples lived in the other days, you see, and Saradini, his disciples, I met many of them. So they are so decent and everything. So that is the, you see, beauty of these things. So what I want to say that he had solid reasons for it. Swami Vivekananda to declare him as Avatara Varishtha. Do you have any questions?
What is the conception of Purnavatar? How can
Purnavatara. What is the conception of
Purnavatar?
Purnavatara, you see, when you compare the lives of Krishna and Rama, you find that Rama is lamenting. When he lost Sita, he was lamenting. This lamentation is seen as a defect. So compared to Ramachandra, Krishna is called Purnavatar. Of course, by Krishnaites. You see, Krishnaites. The followers of Rama will not say that he was, he was Amshavatara. So from there this question has come. You see, even Sri Ramakrishna is asking, you will find in the Kathamrita, he is asking if I am the Avatara, so then is it a Purna, Angsha or Kala? Please give me the weight, he says. Please give me the weight. In replies, I do not understand about this weight. You see? But I see that you are, you say, always immersed in God, etc. I cannot talk about this weight.
Bhagavatam Krishna is to Bhagavan Swami.
And Krishnites, Bhagavata Puran itself is an attempt to glorify Krishna. It is a Krishna Purana, Bhagavata Purana. Iti Chansakala Sarve Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Bhagavan says.
All of the avataras are Kala and Amsha. Whereas Krishna is full manifestation of God.
Yeah. But that is normal because Bhagavata is a Krishna Purana.
Anybody else? The West, they always, after a talk, they have a system of people asking questions so that they have understood or misunderstood or where they are. So if you have anyone else can ask. Yes.
When we say Ramakrishna was an avatar or not, how does one qualify to be an avatar?
How does one qualify to be an avatar? When you say
What are the
Ramakrishna,
characteristics of an avatar?
Avatara, they say, avatar of what? Avatar means descent. Descent from where? From Prapancha Avataranam Avatara. From beyond the phenomenality, something is coming down to the plane of phenomenality, that is Avatara. Now, to be convinced about this, as I have said already, that is a subjective affair. You see certain glorious thing in the person, and so you call him Avatar, if you are impressed by those things. In Sri Ramakrishna, for example, Mathur Babu saw him, he was, you see, up and down at Baranda, he was easing, and at one time he was seeing him as Shiva, and that time as the Mother Kali. So if you have such a vision in the man, naturally he is convinced. So Sri Ramakrishna rarely in his life appeared to his disciples with divine forms. Appeared. Mother appeared to a few people. For example, Chandramohan Datta, Vasnavala Nandi. To them she appeared as Jagadham. So, but in Sri Ramakrishna we do not Rajagiri Maharaj, yes, saw something in the holy water. But you see, Chandramohan Datta, it is very dramatic. Suddenly she transformed herself and appeared as a Devi. But she warned him that this thing which you have seen should not be divulged to anybody before my death. Never tell anybody about this. So, others, they were impressed. You find in the Kathamrita, Ramakrishna himself is telling Naren, many people call me Avatara. What is your opinion? And Naren says that let thousands of people call you, so I shall not call you till I understand it.
Maharaj, I have a question. In Kathamrita, it is only for last 4 years of Thakur's life. But before that, as you were saying, that Sri Krishna's and Sri Ram's, all are mythology. Then whatever is the Thakur's life, what we read or what we listen every day, that's again mythology except last 4 years.
No.
And one more thing, sir. Even Bhagavad Gita is a documented document. It's documented. Gita is documented. Can you explain this?
No, the question is that first of all, we are talking about Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna has many things in his life. They were, you say, for example, when Swami Amaranandaji was writing the biography, he went to different persons, you see, who were eyewitnesses.
But that also for the last few years only.
No,
Not in his childhood.
You have not read this. You read the book Sri Ramakrishna and his Divine Play, the Leela Prasanga, the Great Master. So fully documented from birth to the last day, fully documented. Himself says, I am depending on 3 types of witnesses. Those who have lived with him, those he himself said, and the third is what I have heard from those who have heard from others. So 3 types of. So it's all completely documented. That is the speciality of Sri Ramakrishna's avatar. Nothing is somebody, there's no, at least 500 years later, his life also would become a mythology and a Purana and all that. But as of date, it's all fully documented, totally reliable and dependable evidences about Sri Ramakrishna. So that's not
Swamiji himself told Amaranandaji that collect the materials about Thakur's life, because otherwise, when we are gone, people will begin to talk about miracle. So they will forget his tapasya, his sadhana, they will all say miracle. And regarding Bhagavad Gita, my point is that Bhagavad Gita is a document, no doubt. But how do you know that Krishna told us this thing? Because it is a whole thing is a part of a mythological thing. The Mahabharata is not a history book. There are many elements of history in it, but you see, it is mixed with.
Obviously, because in a battlefield, you cannot discourse 700 shlokas like that. No? So probably there is an element of mythology in it.
Yes.
Of course, there is a divine aspect of it. No one is denying Sri Krishna's
What is important about the Bhagavad Gita is that whether it is Krishna's or any other composition, you can feel that it is correct. Because it deals with the messages of so many great souls. You see? There is nothing in the Bhagavad Gita which gives a jarring note.
Same for Bhagavad also.
Huh?
Same thing for Bhagavad.
Yes. Yeah.
One great text, that's why our, the Indian idea of history, etc., are all very different. They don't go so much by the date and place and where they ate, where they slept. No. Our idea is what is the impact on people, how it has influenced life, how relevant they are to humanity. Think properly in the mind, that's how they look at it. It's slightly different from the Western concept where they are only worried about the gross physical aspect of life. Yes, so Maharaj has to leave because he has to catch a flight. Huh? Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om Tat Sat, Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. We are extremely grateful to Maharaj. Maharaj is so senior to me, but he has a very special affection, so I can make demands on Maharaj. I always say that you must come. So Maharaj agreed and came and spoke to us. We got so many new things today. So we all pray for Maharaj's health. Maharaj is not keeping that well. And we hope that when he comes back next year, he'll be more vigorous and full of energy. Pranam Maharaj.